plaintiff, Brandon Johnson, was good friends with the defendant. But after Brandon moved in with him, he realized the defendant had romantic feelings for him. Brandon claims the defendant started going through his phone and showing up at his job. And he's suing because he says the defendant bleached his property and set it on fire. And he has the video to prove it. Defendant Morris Pulliam says although he and Brandon never put a label on their relationship, they were intimate, and it was unspoken that they were a couple. Morris claims he ended things with Brandon after he discovered he was cheating, and he's countersuing because he claims Brandon vandalized his car.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. May now be seated.
Start with you.
All right, sir. Me and the defendant, we started off as really good friends, hanging out at the bars, clubs, mutual friends, up until the point that I moved in with them.
When?
This was about late March.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I started noticing little weird things about him. He started to like me a little bit more than I liked him. He started showing up at my job unannounced to pick me up. He started going through my phone, text messages, calling my friends, certain friends that I would be hanging out with at that time. He would call them and see if I'm actually going to hang out with them. At one point, he even acted like he was a pizza delivery guy to come over to my friend's house to see if I was actually over there.
Tell me how. Describe that.
He acted as if he was the pizza delivery man to see if I was actually in there.
He knocked on the door and said,
knocked
pizza.
on the door and everything. And one of my friends was just like, ain't this your buddy right here at the door? And I looked around and it's just like, oh my God. Your Honor, I don't know what I have that made him act this way. But I need to bottle it up and sell it at Walmart. I need to make some money. I need some money.
All right, let me hear some background from you before we get to the property he's alleging you damaged.
85% of what he just said is complete and totally a lie. Yeah, he did move in with me at the end of March. I thought we were going to be something, but I found out he was doing stuff
We
behind his
wasn't,
back.
we still ain't.
I don't know any of his friends. I don't know where any of his friends even live. To do that pizza delivery thing, I'm a general manager for a pizza restaurant. I am. On top of that, I have 2 other jobs that I was working to pretty much take care of this guy who didn't have a job.
This is the first time you heard the allegation that you showed up?
Yeah, that's the first time I ever heard the allegation that I showed. I don't know where any of his friends live.
He says this is the first time he's heard
You
that
can
allegation.
ask my friend Rico.
You want to come up and we'll get this first part out of the way, the most ridiculous part. State your name.
My name's Rico.
What do you want to tell me about this pizza delivery?
Well, there was a knock at the door. I came to the door, and it was him at the door. I saw him a couple times. We went out to the club together. I always thought he was a little weird, but I just didn't pay no attention to it. But this was weird when he came to the house. And it wasn't even a small box of pizza. At least could have been a large. It was like 4 of them in there. I mean, that was, a small piece. So I'm like, ain't this the guy you live with that's at the house with the box? He's like, I just want to talk to you, man. That's all. I just need to talk to you right now. And I was like, oh, no, this is going way too far.
All right, so they're both making
Your Honor, I don't know this gentleman. I've seen him maybe twice. Like I said, I work 3 jobs.
That was the time you brought the pizza? was that one of them?
So,
All right, sir, we're going to move on from that. What else do you want to tell me about your relationship with the plaintiff?
He's pretty much denying our relationship. It was an unspoken relationship. We never sat down and discussed and said, I'm your boyfriend, you're my boyfriend. Mm-hmm. But our everyday actions pretty much said otherwise. I should have cut it off when I found out he had a boyfriend when we were doing a cuddle in the club and the chilling stuff as he proclaimed. But he didn't tell me about his boyfriend until he actually was about to move in with me. We laid in apparently his other boyfriend bed and watched a movie and smoked a couple blunts a few times.
What?
He never even told me he had a different guy. And when we finally he did discuss it, and I'm like, that should have been an end-off point for me. But I'm a nice guy, and he needed somewhere to stay because he pretty much was homeless at the time and living out of a suitcase. So I offered my home to him. Took him to his job interview. I even put an extra hole in my belt because my dogs chewed his belt up so he could wear it to his job interview. And, I was just a good guy to him.
When you made these allegations to him about the cheating and brought all this up, What did he say?
He denied it. He denied it at first until I told him I have security cameras at my house and I seen it.
I see we have a television here. Is it on here?
No, I couldn't get the evidence. I have text messages from the social
I
app.
want to see something on this tape.
Well,
You brought a TV out.
I do have other evidence that is on tape. That's probably why.
What is it
but
going
I don't
to
have
show?
the.
What is this going to show?
It would
Him-
show the
him
conversations.
getting caught.
It would show the conversations that he had with other men, bring him into my house.
There you go.
Be naked when you get there. This
That's
is my
what
car.
this is going to show?
But what's on that is probably the 911 recording that I have where he slapped me when I was at his job. That's probably what that have.
Okay, but that's not part of your claim. Your claim is car damages and a cell phone, right?
Yes, sir.
He's the one that seems to be claiming harassment and emotional distress.
He acted as if he was a pizza delivery man to see if I was actually in
He
there.
knocked on the door and said,
Knocked
pizza.
on the door and everything. And one of my friends was just like, "Ain't this your buddy right here at the door?" And I looked around and it's just like, oh my God.
Defendant Morris Pulliam insists he and the plaintiff had sex 3 times, but the plaintiff denies it, and he's suing because he claims he has video of Morris setting his property on fire.
Let's hear what you have to say about property harassment and emotional distress.
He came up to my job to bring all of my belongings there.
This is after what?
This is after I told him that this was not gonna work out. I told him I was gonna be moving and making other arrangements. He brought all my stuff to my job, caused a big scene, caused enough scene to where my boss had to issue a trespass.
This is approximately what month?
This was actually June 8th
All
of
right.
2016.
Came to your job.
Yep, he came up
Brought
to my
your
job.
things, you say?
He brought me all of my belongings up to my job. But then he went on as to say, I'm not gonna give you anything, because he went on to say, I want my phone back that I gave you, that he gave me as a gift. After this, the defendant told me later on that night, the same day of June 8th, he told me to come and get my belongings. I was with Rico at this time. Rico brought me to the house along with a police escort to collect my belongings. The defendant then tells the police he doesn't have my belongings. So the police officer told me to take matters to the civil court because he can't physically make him give me those belongings. I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do the smart thing. I'm 30 years old now. I'm gonna take you to court for it. About 15 minutes later, he then sends me videos of him bleaching, watching, putting water and setting all of my belongings on fire.
Let me see the property.
Can we cue this video?
all right,
Because
this
I have
is
a
what-
I have a
okay.
video.
You have a
I
video. All right.
Cue the music.
I recorded the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least he got good bleach.
Oh, look.
Ain't denying it at all.
Not even a drizzle.
Is that outside? Hopefully.
Only you can prevent forest fires because you see my computer? $500 computer.
It didn't even work.
Not after
Let me
that.
see your items. Your itemized statement. Sir, what do you have to say about this?
I'm not denying anything, Your Honor. I
Why'd
set
you
his
do
stuff on
that?
fire. Why?
Yeah.
Well, first off, I'm taking care of you. Like, he had a low-end job. No, I work in 3 jobs to make sure we're okay, above water. You know, I let you use my car. I gave you money. I gave you marijuana. And for me to find out you bring him into my house, having sex in my bed, using my car to go hook up with guys. Mind you, you're not having sex with me because you told
Thank
me
you.
I don't want to rush into the relationship. But for the fact
Did you bring people to the house?
No,
did-
sir, I did not. We did not have
had
sex.
sex.
Right,
3
as long as
times.
you didn't- I'm just
We had sex
wondering,
3
rather,
times.
Because
No
that's pretty
problem.
extreme. You did damage his property. That is you, sir?
I set his stuff on fire. I bleached it. You know, I had a wait and exhale moment. You know, I seen it was Angela Bassett. I was smoking a Newport. I had just cut my grass. You know, it was a gas can right there. My roommate don't let us smoke in the house, so I'm outside smoking a cigarette, and we're texting back and forth, and he just pretty
I
much
don't know
like,
why Angela did that.
Everybody always talks
I
about
don't
it.
know why
talking-
she let them give her that role.
You
She
know-
has had a generation of folks burning up clothes in the driveway
and
because she
then,
did that movie. And sir, stop using her name. You are no Angela Bassett.
Oh, yes,
I know
sir.
Angela Bassett.
I know I'm no
and you
Angela
are
Bassett.
no Angela Bassett.
I'm just saying, you know. You know, I'm
Let's
not denying
see,
it at
sir.
all.
What is your claim for this
Okay,
cell
so-
phone and the car damages against you?
After I set his stuff on fire, he had this guy hook up with my roommate to come back to my house. But before they left, he sliced 2 of my tires and busted my window. So,
All right. Did you report that to the police?
yep, here's the.
Did they investigate it?
Well, they said there's no proof, and since I couldn't play the tape for the cop right then and there, he
How
really
about
couldn't.
the cell phone you're countersuing?
The cell
for,
phone,
which he says you gave to him.
Yeah, and in
Was it
his restraint order, he said he was making payments on it. You don't make payments on
You
it.
have that?
I have the restraint order right
Sir,
here.
did you say that in a restraining
It's in
order?
his handwriting. It said I was.
He gifted me a cell phone.
Did you say that in the restraining order?
After he started acting crazy,
All
I
right.
agreed to pay on the phone.
And the car damages, did you damage his car?
No, sir. I
Any
wasn't even
evidence of
nowhere
that?
in the area.
He did it.
Well, you need to sue him.
Thank you. Thank you.
But he had him do it. Here's a picture of my car.
Let's see it, please. But
That's the
need
picture
to
of my
sue
car.
him, sir.
And
Unless you
here's-
have evidence of him saying, I told such and such to go and damage your car. Do you have any evidence where he told someone to do it on his behalf? Which
I have
means
no
he's
evidence,
an
but
accomplice.
I'm 1,000% sure.
You're just assuming because you damaged his items.
Well, the timing
Right.
pretty
And
much.
how long after were
Like 20 minutes.
Huh?
Like 20 minutes. You know, I let you use my car. I gave you money. I gave you marijuana. And for me to find out you bring him into my house, having sex in my bed, using my car to go hook up with guys. Mind you, you're not having sex with me because you told
Thank
me
you.
I don't want to rush into the relationship. But for the fact
Did you bring people to the house?
No,
did-
sir, I did not. We did not
we
have
had
sex.
sex
Right,
3
as long as
times.
you didn't- I'm
We
just
had sex
wondering,
3
rather.
times.
Defendant Morris Pulliam insists he and the plaintiff had sex 3 times, but the plaintiff denies it, and he's suing because he claims he has video of Morris setting his property on fire.
And what damages do you have? What
This is the
items
cell
do you
phone.
have?
You know, I really took care of this guy, and it really it hurt me. I made several instances the first
Sir,
time I
do you
called.
have the evidence of the actual damages, the itemized damage to your car?
Here we go. But that's the bill for the windshield.
All right, and even though he doesn't have evidence, I have to determine whether whose testimony to believe regarding the damage of the car. And I believe it's more likely than not that you did damage his car based on the circumstances. And also, sir, regarding the cell phone, you said you were making payments. So I'll grant him the cell phone damage as well as the car damage, which I believe you committed. And so his judgment is $1,145. However, you going to his job was the biggest harassment and emotional distress. He's certainly entitled to that, perhaps up to $5,000. And he's only suing for $4,000, and that includes the wait and exhale moment where you burned all his items. So I'm gonna grant his judgment in its entirety. $4,000 is your judgment. However, I'm gonna grant his $1,145, leaving you, sir, with
$28.55.
$28.55 is your judgment. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
I just hope that everybody know that just look out for nice guys because they always ain't that nice.
I learned a lesson, and I'm just going to move on from it and grow up a little bit. I'm too mature and a good guy for the that I went through.
While he's over there delivering those pizzas, he was delivering that mouth too. He should have stopped doing that.
Well, look at me. I don't have to chase up after him or do all of this other stuff. I did not date this guy.